Again, today we're going to talk about how we can use Git Free API platform or management platform, how we can use it with two URLs following the same path or two paths following the same URL, which is we can create them by two proxies with different paths, or we can create them as a one proxy and then within the call we change the path. And in that case, we can access both of them with multiple API tables. So let's start by going back to the account that we created. And as we remember with the last tutorial, we created a proxy named myJSON-test1, and we got multiple ideas about how we limit the calls for that API. Now let's do something else. Let's create now two myJSON accounts. So let's say we have title and test, number one, the first JSON. We're gonna create another JSON, which is myJSON, and let's do this one as, instead of having title, message, API 2. I think myJSON doesn't accept us at this step. Okay, so now we have two JSONs, both of them sharing the same URL to access, which is, in our case, there's no reason for us to create two proxies and add the same app for both of them. In our case, to solve this issue that we have both APIs, but the different only after bins, there is a way that it seems that all myJSONs adding bins after it. If not bins, then we can create this one as a custom within the call, but we just call the URL. And that case, we're going to repeat the pins. But the best way, while we both sharing the same pins, is to easier give a proxy starting from pins. So the proxy starts from here. Let's create a new proxy. And this proxy is going to be myJSON API 1. And it's going to be external. And we're going to add as pins. As we said, we're not going to call it one, all, because what we're going to do is just adding the path after bins. And then we're going to do this. Don't forget to add the rest path. Let's create it. Now we have it. Now we have myJSON's all. And let's go there. And let's make sure that we add our demo API again for this one. And within this tutorial, let's do the test for accept and application JSON. And another one's going to be content type application JSON. And in case like we wanted to add authorization or whatever we want to do, we can add it more. Now let's save this one. As we added demo app, we added two, accept and accept. So we're allowing demo app, we're allowing it with unlimited, all methods. Now what we're gonna do, we want to check if we can access this API. Okay, open a new Postman. Right here. And going to my apps, let's get our token that demo app using. Let's put it as barrier, and let's access this one. If we go back to our GetFree API, and we go back to proxy, and we go to the proxy that we just created, whatever headers we're adding here is after, or what GetFree API management is gonna send to the external API. So everything we add here is gonna go out without showing it to the end user or the app or services. So whatever we need here, some like, let's say like basic auth in the body, headers like accepting XML and we convert it to JSON, stuff like that, it's all going out from the management here. So this page is just to manage how the code is gonna get out to the external API. And now for us, if we leave it without the accepting JSON as an end user, what we're gonna expect that we're gonna get results HTML, and that's for the internal server error. Now to get it perfectly JSONs as what we expected from GetFree API, we have to add the content type and JSON. So whenever we get results from GetFree API, please make sure that you add the JSON acceptance because the results is coming by JSON. Now, the 500, it comes out from the final destination or the end, which is in our case myjson.com. So in that case, it's saying like, oops, code 500. So what responding to us is 500, which means this one doesn't exist. And as what we remembered, we have to add the final call for it. So the final, what we created. So what we expected from this one is this final. Now it should similar to this response. And this is what we have to get from the results. And this is exactly what we have, or what we created on myJSON. Excuse me. So within the headers that we sent headers from Platform SH. And what we care about is whatever that external accept. So if there is a token that you need to access this page, that's what where we added for our headers. And if it's a very regular one, you just add the token here, and that's all what we need. All right, so now we have this one access for it. Now another one we got for myJSON API all, that we created this one, which is API 2. And this coming from 15 AU 26 API JSON. And this is where we're gonna change it. So the first one was 12, the second one was 15. Now what we're expecting is getting the results from the 15, not from the first one, because we changed the final response. And this is exactly what we expected. Now this is a positive and negative. There's pros and cons. Cons that you can't limit for each one separately. So if you want to do a limit for API 2, and you don't want to have the limit for apps demo or app demo for API 1, you can't do that when you share one proxy. So if you have it in two different limitation, you want it for demo app, let's say like can post for API 1, but cannot post for API 2, that's the con that when we create them both in one proxy. Now, if we want to limit in both calls or on both APIs, this is the pros for it, which is perfect because let's say like this app, we're dealing with them as external and we're dealing with them in general. All what we wanted to get from this end or the external URL, all what we want to limit is limit 10 for both 1 and 2. Whatever they are doing it, whatever they were getting from it. So let's say like right now we limit it for 10. Now the get used is 0 because it didn't count before and it would not count after the 10. So let's say like right now we're gonna send to API 2, 1, 2, 3, and then we want to go back to API 1. The same token, the same app or demo app is gonna send to API 1, and it's gonna send it like let's say 1, 2, 3. So in total we're accessing, it should be number 6. 6 times we try to get used to it. Now the con that right now we have limit for both, and the reason for it that we're limiting for both, let's say like API JSON for the 15 is not limited for us and it's unlimited, but for the 12 is limited. So we don't want to get charged over like the limit for 12, but we want it to be unlimited for 15. Let's do another 2 here, and now it should be the last one. Now is not authorized. Not authorized to access API 1 or API 2, because both of them sharing the same proxy. In case we have a different APIs sharing the same URL, we can do the same token for both of them for the end user, or the token that we're going to use for the app, mobile, whatever is it, services that we're going to depend on these apps or APIs. We can create 2 proxies and both of them having the same link. Now let's say I wanted to access, or like I got like a limit for 10, and this should be showing from us 10, and there is no way he can pass or get anything else. Now we want to create the same link with different proxy, but in that proxy we decide that we want only access API 2, which is the 15. Let's do this one as a reminder for us, and let's go back and create a new proxy. And in this proxy is the API my JSON 15, which is the external API that we're gonna depend, which is 15. For 15, we have both of the APIs like the same URL, the same path. So we have to decide 100% that we need to add it. In other case, if we open this one without it and we let the user or the end API, the app, calling bins, they can change it to the 12 and they can get results depending on this one instead of that one. And how we can change it is just through the app or through the path that we're going to send it to. So let's keep it as path 2, and we want to add exactly API 2 only. Another app that is going to depend on API 2. App demo is depending on this one, which is both of them, and it's limited for 10 and he can't access it too. But I want for 15 to be accesses more. So what we're going to do, we're going to go there and add the app demo. And we're going to save it. And I didn't add the headers because in general my JSON it responds for you accept JSON and tap JSON, so there is no reason for it. I was just explaining like how we can add headers for the external API. And let's say like this demo is now for this to access this path, he has unlimited access, but this path goes always to the API 2. So all what we need to do to test it is changing the app, or changing the proxy. We don't change the app, I'm sorry. So we send this request to API myJSON 15. We will get the response, and we can get as much as we want. Now everything we did right now, it's all in our history. And we can check it and we see how many times we did the calls, plus how many times happened in that request. Now let's go back to the other one that we already have limit for it, and it's already the same domain, the same URL, and the same path, but we're limited this app not to access it. So it's gonna be not authorized unless we open it from our side. Now for other options, how we can find out is our dashboard. Whenever it passes, it should send us and show us how many times we did it. So for my JSON 15, it happened 14 times the get call. But for my JSON API all, it happened 26 times. For the external, we can get what happened, get external through the demo, and it was the API, the app ID. I just changed it to the app name, so it will be easier to investigate what happened. And then accessing to my JSON, it went with response 200. And this response, it's coming from the code, external code. So if we got another issue, let's say like we want to access this one, but then we said like, okay, 23, and 23 is not found because we don't have 23, but Get a Free API gave you the okay. So it passed, but your response from the other server, it gave us 404. This is Sam Layub. I hope this functionality tutorial explain how we can use Git platform or Git Free API management platform in a good way with multiple proxies, multiple URI, multiple APIs in one proxy. And if you have any question, please leave a comments below, and any new features you expected or needed, let me know so I can add it for you guys. It's all for free. Thank you. Have a good one.